It was about 10 years ago now that my good friend Mike Lenning first uttered the phrase, "God hates Clambake." This odd little phrase was super funny to those of us in the know, because in this context, Clambake is this huge annual event. It's an ultimate frisbee tournament and Special Olympics fundraiser that I've been organizing for the last 35 years. Once a year, 600 or so ultimate frisbee players come up here to play this huge tournament. Saturday night, we throw a dinner, a sit-down Clambake dinner party with open bar, 20 kegs, bonfire music, craziest thing you've ever seen for all 600 people. They camp out at night, we serve breakfast to everyone in the morning, and they go back and play frisbee all day on Sunday. It is an amazing thing. It's like the Orange Bowl or Rose Bowl of ultimate frisbee. It's the Northeast's grand old tournament. It's a bucket list thing. And it's a Special Olympics fundraiser that's raised over $500,000 in 35 years. This is a big deal to a lot of people. Most certainly is a big deal to me and my wife, who's been there almost since the beginning, making this thing happen. It's a special thing. It's a big part of our life. And the reason that Mike said God hates this Clambake so much is the number of times that we have gotten hammered with the worst imaginable weather. Biblical rains have come down on us in the middle of this all-weekend outdoor event. A bunch of times, every few years, and in recent times, like 3 out of 5. It's just been absurd. So I was so happy Tuesday of Clambake week last fall when I looked at the long-range weather forecast and saw nothing but sunshines. And I texted a picture, a screenshot of that weather forecast to Mike, and I said, "Do you think it's too soon to tell God that he can..." I won't say it, I'll spare you. You can fill in the blanks with whatever you want, and just trust what I said was worse. So it was about 24 hours later, barely, Wednesday afternoon, when I get a text. Someone that says, "Hey, Posey, did you hear about the mass shooting up in Lewiston? Word's coming out there could be dozens dead in multiple locations, and the shooter's still on the loose." My first thought is, you're kidding me. Oh my God. Clambake. What if we have to cancel Clambake? My second thought was, oh my God, you are a terrible human being. People were just murdered and you're worried about canceling your party. Get over yourself. Realistically, I am still in charge of this event, and it occurs to me I may have some very big decisions laying ahead of me. This is going to get intense. It's one thing to safely throw this event in a hurricane. It's another thing to do it with a shooter hiding in the woods. So I text Mike the news about the shooter, and he texts back like, "I told you, dude. You asked for this." Oh my God. So I decide I need to ask the community what to do here. This is uncharted territory. None of us really knows what to do, what is safe. At this point, I still thought it was viable that the tournament could go on, potentially, if the killer isn't found. But I don't know. Nobody really knows. So I put a message out on Facebook asking for input from anyone who's coming. I sent an email to our Frisbee captains trying to get their input. Then I go out my day watching the news, waiting to see what happens. That evening, I'm talking to Jen about it. And what do? And I tell her that, I certainly have made my decision, and I'm comfortable with going forward with a show. This guy, wherever he is not coming to shoot up our Frisbee tournament. He went to a specific place. He had a mission. We're safe. We're as safe as we ever would be from this particular person. So I think we should do it if people want to come. And she looks at me like, "What? Are you nuts? If they don't catch the shooter, I'm not going to do a show Friday night. That's not safe. No way. This is black and white." And to my amazement, I reply instantly, okay, you're right. We won't do the show. That's fine. And the reason this is amazing is because as much as I wanted to talk her into it, to have her feel my sense of safety and still do this thing, I couldn't. She's right. We disagree, but we're not disagreeing about actual facts. We're disagreeing about how we feel about not dying. But I also realize and think deeply about this is not black and white, as she said. What's black and white is that we both don't want to get shot. We don't want to die, clearly. But what is not black and white is how we feel. She doesn't feel safe on one end. I feel 100% safe on the other. That's not black and white. That's black or white. And in between is a spectrum of gray that every one of us is going to fall on somewhere. And it was fascinating. And I started realizing just how intense this weekend is going to be. We get to Thursday, still no shooter. Thursday's a planning day. We need to start moving, but most of the action happens Friday through Saturday. So we kind of put things on hold. Didn't want to do too much. Didn't want to spend any money for the tournament yet. That can wait till Friday to make sure, see if we're going to do this thing. And by Thursday evening, things are getting really intense. They still don't have the shooter. It's getting stressful. We know we have to move. And Jen, in particular, is getting really stressed. She's getting pretty frazzled, and she's saying, no, I don't know if I can do this. It's intense, and legitimately. And I realize, I need her. If we're going to do this, we need to get calm. We need to be able to do this and function and think clearly. So I ask, what is the big stressor here? Is there anything I can do? What are you so stressed about? She said, because we might have to cancel Clambake. Okay, I agree. I'm stressed too. Here's how I'm looking at it. At this point, we can't do this if they don't catch the shooter. Nobody else. Society's shutting down. There's nothing we can do. So we don't have to think about that anymore. I don't even have to worry about making this decision because someone else is going to make it for me. Whoever finds or doesn't find the shooter is going to make it for us. All we have to do is decide when we have to cancel. And we realize 10 o'clock Friday morning. If we cancel by 10 o'clock, then I don't rent the $2,000 refrigerator truck that I fill with $8,000 worth of supplies for this weekend party. We don't do any of it. We can cancel without losing money, without teams showing up here already. That'll work. So it occurs to me oh my God, that's awesome. That's literally a win-win situation. If I cancel this thing that is one of the biggest weekends of my entire life, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be 75 degrees out, and I don't have any plans because I was booked running this thing all weekend. That is amazing. And even better, the other thing that was causing so much stress was if we don't cancel, all the stuff we have to do for Clambake. That just went out the window too. And suddenly I start realizing that I can't even decide if I would rather cancel or not cancel more. They both sound amazing. And there's no more stress. For me anyway. I'm trying to help Jen. This is how my brain works, not hers. But it makes sense. We have a path forward. And we go to sleep. We wake up on Friday morning and, spoiler alert, they don't find the killer in time. And at 10 o'clock, we cancel the tournament. I feel this amazing weight lifted off my shoulders. Not only do I not have to worry about this anymore, I have my weekend, and I am so excited. I realized that on Friday night, I can actually do a reunion party at my house with all of the original founding members. All my teammates from 35 years ago are here, and I can still get my annual dose of Clambake community and love and memories and all of that. It'll be a blast, and it'll be no work compared to the concert I was going to throw Friday night. This is so much better. I can't wait. We get to Friday night. The party's awesome. There's 20 or so of us. It's not a big deal. And at some point, a woman comes walking up to me for the first time, the wife of one of our OG players, and she walks up to me with this look on her face, like someone just died. And she comes in for a hug and she says, "I'm so sorry, Pose. I'm so sorry." And I start panicking because I have no idea what she's talking about. I'm in the middle of this awesome party and all I can think is someone died. Her mother just died, and I'm supposed to know this, but I don't pay attention to other people, and I forgot. And now I'm supposed to say the right thing, and I don't want to say the wrong thing and mention someone that died that didn't die, and I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And then I'm like, wait a minute. She said, "I'm sorry, Pose." She's talking to me? Oh my God, Clambake! This is all while I was still in for the hug. And I let go. I was like, "Oh my God, Penny, you're talking about Clambake, aren't? Oh my God, thank you. It's okay. I promise." I was like, honestly, I'm having so much fun tonight. I literally haven't thought about Clambake in 7 hours. Sometime this afternoon was the last time it even crossed my mind. I'm not joking. But that interaction that I had with Penny Abbott happened again and again and again on Friday and on Saturday. Everywhere I went, everyone I ran into looked at me like a relative had died, and they were so sad, and they had to stop and tell me how sad it is and how sad I must be and how sad it is that we're all so sad. And then I would have to explain to them that I am actually having a ball. What is so sad is that people were murdered this weekend. Everything in my life is amazing. I'm having a fantastic weekend, and I have just let it go. I can't find any sadness about Clambake in my heart. We get to Sunday and realize the weekend just got even better because Steely Dan is playing at the Portland House of Music. They were the band who was playing on Friday night that I had to cancel. That was the most important thing that I was looking forward to all weekend. And I wasn't going to go to this Sunday night show because I would have been exhausted from Clambake, and we knew there was no way we're going to make this happen. So I'm just ecstatic, and I'm getting all excited for the show. And then my weekend gets even better when I realize I have tomorrow off, because Monday is Clambake cleanup day, when I drive around in a truck and pick all the shit up and return it to all the rental companies and all of that stuff. And now I have Monday off, and it's still going to be 70 degrees again, and I have no plans. This is amazing. This is the best Clambake ever. I'm just loving it. And we're walking down the street, going into the show at Portland House of Music, and I say to Jen, I was like, I swear, at this point, the first person who walks up to me with that sad look on their face and makes me stop having fun so they can tell me how sad I must be, I'm going to just punch him in the face. I can't take it anymore. I know they mean well, but I'm just done with it. This is nuts. I have a good laugh. I think I'm so funny. We go into the show. Sure enough, it's not long before I run into Andy Lilienthal, one of my original founding members that was at the party Friday night, and we're talking, and he says to me, "Man, you must be having so much more fun than you did Friday night, huh?" I look at him, and I'm like, "That's a funny way to tell me you thought my party sucked." And he looks at me puzzled. He realizes what I'm saying. He's like, no, I just mean that you would have been so sad Friday night. And my fist clenches up a little bit. I let him know that, no, truly, dude, I had a ball Friday. I let it all go. This is all good. And I walk away. A little while later, I start talking to another woman. First time I've seen her. And sure enough, here it comes. She has that look. She comes in for the sad hug. And my fist clenches up a little bit again. But I know she means well. I hug her, thank her for her support, but make sure to tell her the story of exactly why I am not sad, and I have no reason to be sad other than for all these poor victims who got shot. And after explaining it to her, she's nodding her head, yeah, I get it. And she stops and she says, but still, you have to be sad. You really have to be so sad. This is such a big thing. It felt so good. I didn't do it, but I wanted to so bad. Oh my God. No, I don't have to be sad. This is a choice. I had made my choice, and it was the right one. Thankfully, she quickly redeemed herself by saying the most poignant thing that summed up this entire weekend, this deeply emotional, just fascinating weekend. I've been thinking about human behavior, this spectrum we're on. What is black? What is white? What is safe? What isn't safe? When is it too soon? What does that even mean? When she says to me, this must have been the hardest decision you've ever made. And I tell her, no, it wasn't hard at all. It was actually a non-decision because I had to follow what happened. I had no choice but to cancel this thing. But I said, what would have been the hardest decision I may have ever made in my life, and one that I sort of wish I had the chance to make because of the challenge, the personal growth it presented with me, was if they did find a shooter and I didn't cancel the tournament, and I chose not to cancel the tournament, I would have faced some serious backlash from people who love and respect me, and whom I love and respect, who think it's simply too soon. So I really thought that one through, and I realized I absolutely would have gone on with the tournament as long as the majority of people wanted to do it and it was viable. And what I realized was that if my wife and daughter were victims of that shooting, there is no way I would have canceled Clambake. If you think you're going to murder my family and then ruin the biggest night of my life 2 days later, no chance. Morally, I just can't do it. I could not let the terrorists win. I would insist on sharing the celebration, having us celebrate bigger and harder than we ever have before. It's who I am. It's absolutely what I believe in. I'm right. And my friend Tom Fonts, who said it's too soon, that he could not perform because he believes it is not right, he's right too. We are at opposite ends of this spectrum of belief, and we're both right. This never happens in the real world. What do we do with it? All we can do is listen and understand, look at each other's perspective. So my mission, had I had the chance to make this event go on, would have been to make sure that everyone came to the event, had more fun than they've ever had in their life. And more importantly, it would have been to make sure that anyone who deeply disagreed, who may have been offended by my choice, puzzled, how could I possibly do this, would be to make them understand, to look at my perspective as much as I have looked at theirs, to understand this crazy spectrum of belief that we're all falling somewhere different on the spectrum on, and have them understand and accept and continue to love me as much or more as I love them. Thank you.